Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, and the rest of you watching along tonight, whether you be from another planet, another dimension, or living under the surface of the earth. We are Eat, Sleep, Podcast, Repeat, FM 99, and the Fox's first and only wrestling podcast.
That's some seriously social distancing going on right there. If you're doing
it is, and good for you, But remember to still wear your mask anyway.
Yeah.
We, like I said, FM 99 and the Fox's first and only wrestling podcast. That makes us number one by default, but I'll take it however we get it. And we are a deep dive into all things pro wrestling. So if you happen to be a wrestling fan or you know one, well, I'm assuming you are or something, because otherwise, why are you here? But if you'd like to find more of us, there's lots of ways to do that on fm99.com and 1069thefox.com. You can go right there under the media tab. ESPR, it is that simple. It allows you to find our recent episode and links you to our feed. You can also find us on all of your major podcasting apps. Just search for ESPR Wrestling, and you can find us on all your podcast apps. Just Google us, or not Google us, look us up on your podcasting apps. Subscribe, give us a 5-star rating and a review. We greatly appreciate that. And follow us on social media, facebook.com/ESPR99 and on Twitter at ESPR99. And make sure you like and turn on notifications so you can know when we go live for moments just like this. So you can discuss things like Clash of Champions with us. And don't forget, you can email us, espr@fm99.com, any day, time, or night. Time, day, or night is what I meant to say, but I got that backwards. Any time, day, or night. Real quick before we get into Clash of Champions, a couple of things I wanted to bring up real quick. First of all, a programming note. Those of you who are used to seeing us on Fridays, we are not going to be doing Friday anymore. We're going to move into Saturday during the day. It'll be about midday. So just a heads up to people so you can be ready for that change on Friday, and you're not like, hey, where are you guys? We're still going to be broadcasting. We're just going to do it on Saturdays because Fridays was just the time frame wasn't working out with work schedules and whatnot. Another quick note, couple of quick notes I wanted to get to before we get to this. Before the pandemic hit, I read this report earlier. James Storm was supposed to make a Raw debut.
Really?
Yeah, he said everything was set up, and he was supposed to come in. Heyman wanted him for Raw. He thinks the plan was to reunite him with James Storm, or with Robert Roode, and become beer money, basically, on WWE television. He goes, but obviously the pandemic happened, and things changed, and it didn't happen. He says he's still hopeful, though, that it's going to happen at some point. He's holding out hope that they're going to bring it back to WWE TV. And with Robert Roode supposedly making his comeback soon, maybe sooner than later.
We haven't seen the guy in a while. They had the whole split with Dolph thing, and then I know he had the suspension, and he kind of went MIA for a while. So I kind of forgot he was there.
Yeah. What I'd like to see is him show up, and then Dolph be like, basically, now that you're back, you can ask me for your spot back, and this, that, and the other thing. And Roode refusing, and then he gets super kicked by James when he turns around, and then, they reform right there and then. Automatically would be way more exciting than anything Dolph Ziggler's done in the last year. Yeah,
I'd be curious how they set that up because, for those who watch, it was in TNA, their Impact, right?
Yeah.
That, you'd have to explain, well, these guys were friends from wherever, however they set it up. So.
Oh, they easily could. I feel like you could go. You explain that these two have wrestled together all over the world, and yada yada yada. The same way you sell all teams, and then you can just introduce James Storm next week with Robert Roode in a promo segment and kind of establish who he is and what they're there to do, and it's possible. But any of it, so that's the thing.
If it's on Raw, they're gonna, first
hour he'll debut on Raw Underground is what'll happen.
And then second hour is the interview, and then the third hour is the match against Dolph Ziggler.
Right? Yeah.
And then he's gonna lose.
Then the blow off. Yeah. All in one night. And as another quick note, I saw a report as well that literally just an hour ago is when talent found out what they were doing on Raw tonight.
Oh, no.
So this show will probably be terrible because that means that it has been rewritten and messed with and undecided for a very long time. So
you mean the Raw, not our podcast.
Correct. No, Dave and I just found out an hour ago that we were going to be on tonight, and it's going to be a mess. But no, so Raw might be a train wreck, but we'll get done with this stuff quickly so you can get to Raw and find out for yourselves, and then we'll be back on Saturday to talk about it with you. Yeah. But so without further ado, let's get into it. Clash of Champions happened on Sunday night, and I'm going to say overall surprisingly decent show.
I enjoyed the show more than I thought I would.
I think the lack of matches actually helped in that regard because the good ones that were there stood out more because they weren't drudged in the middle of matches that weren't very good. And I'm not saying the other matches wouldn't have been good. I'm simply stating that because there were less matches, it seemed like there was a higher percentage of good matches that way.
Yeah.
You know,
well, plus with that, they didn't throw in a non-title match of this match is whatever for whatever reason as they sometimes do. They didn't. Now, do you want to address the changes now?
Yeah, we might as well. I mean, because right away we lost the women's tag team championship match because both Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax were deemed unable to compete due for medical reasons, unspecified medical reasons. Which, of course, take that however you will. I'm not going to speculate as to what it means. I think all of us looking into the camera now, for those of you with us, I think most of us have an idea of what that means, but we're not going to throw rumors out there.
Well, can I do the Meltzer read or what I find?
Sure. Let's do the Meltzer read. Let's.
I will credit him or whether his sources. Okay, so we obviously didn't get Nikki, which we'll address later on. So Nikki Cross not on the show, Shane and Nia not on the show. Also, and with a spoiler alert, we didn't get Retribution on the show.
Right.
And we will not have Retribution for the next couple of weeks on Raw. So, which is why there's probably a rewrite tonight, although they should have known that last week that there was going to be no Retribution, but maybe somebody didn't tell somebody, hey, they're not going to be here. So that could be
I would assume that the rewrite already happened and Vince didn't like it, and so he decided he was going to do something else.
Yeah. So I don't. I mean, now maybe the Retribution will still show up, but the 5 main ones are the ones that we will not see in the next couple of weeks. So Slipjack and T-Bar and Mace and Retribution or Retaliant and whatever the other girls.
Reckoning and Retaliation.
Yes.
Which are all terrible names. Wow, that's it's not great.
No,
it's not great. Look, again, I don't want to speculate as to what the reason is. But if the reason is what we all think it is, then they need to start handling this a little more seriously. They need a bubble system or something because this isn't working at that point.
Now, according to the sources, they didn't test positive, but they were exposed, so they're quarantined.
Yeah, but again, a bubble system keeps that from happening.
Yes.
Because you're already kind of in a quarantine at that point.
Yeah.
It worked well for the NHL. They ran thousands and thousands and thousands of tests with no positive results since they returned to play with their bubble system. So that's just, one man's opinion. I'm not a doctor or an epidemiologist or anything like that. I just think that for the safety of the performers and everybody, I think that the best thing, especially in a place like Florida, which is kind of like the Wild Wild West as far as these rules go, I feel like the best option would be to do some kind of bubble program. But again, that's neither here nor there. Hope everybody, regardless of what the medical issue is, makes the full recovery and is okay.
Yeah. So let's go to the pre-show, which they moved some things around because they saved the Asuka match for later. So you have the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura defending against Lucha House Party, which was Kalisto and Lindsay Dorado. Which
was fine. I mean, I saw it. It was fine. There was never any doubt how this was going to end.
Nope.
And it just didn't really have any drama. It was okay. It was all right.
Well, I guess the drama was going to be if you were going to see the team break up, but I think
literally nothing happened. There was no real bickering. There was no real nothing. There was it was a non-starter.
Yeah. So it was fine. The right team won.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. So the show kicks off and we get to the Intercontinental Championship match
right away.
Match. Jeff Hardy defending against AJ Styles, Sami Zayn. Holy crap!
Yeah, these guys, wow, they especially Jeff, man. Wow, he as long as he's been doing this, the things that he still does blows my mind. Have you ever noticed that none of them ever look pretty? They just look dangerous.
Yes.
And you're like, every time he does it, I'm like, oh no. And he ends up somehow and highlight reels for years to come.
Yeah. We had Jordan says Jeff looked good. Yeah, he absolutely looked good. The ladder match was a great match.
Oh, all three guys looked good. It was a great match. Everybody played their parts well. And this may sound silly, all right? I'm gonna make a point here because he wasn't like he was not in a large portion of the match or anything like that. But to me, the guy who stood out the least was AJ.
Yeah, it was kind of surprising because Sami Zayn, who I've been singing the praises of last week, was outstanding.
Oh, he was fantastic.
And I don't know if it's just more because it was like, hey, let's put the focus on, Sammy, and Hardy here in this situation. But yeah, AJ was kind of low key for whatever reason.
I don't know. And this happens sometimes in triple threats and stuff like that. Somebody just doesn't shine as much as the other ones. It happens, you know. That doesn't mean that he did a bad job. He just didn't stand out as much as everybody else. And Sammy, while you're not going to hear me often praise the use of handcuffs in matches because I think it's an overdone shtick, I think for Sammy it worked beautifully. And also the handcuff through the earlobe of Jeff Hardy is going to be something we see on highlights for weeks to come.
Okay, so let me say that I didn't read comments. Because I was like, I wonder what the AEW fan base thinks of like what happened here. Because if that's happened in AEW, they would have said this was the greatest thing ever.
Without a doubt.
And I'm thinking like, I mean, it's dangerous. I mean, hello. I mean, that's going on. You know, something like, how is he going to do that? And he still got back in the ring. I mean, a couple of spots that just made me like, oh, holy crap. The spot where AJ Styles threw the ladder.
Sammy
on the
on the ladder.
On the ladder. Of course, Jeff jumping off the ladder onto
another ladder.
Yeah, another ladder. And then the spot where Jeff is on the other side of the ladder.
I don't think that spot went like it was supposed to. I think the ladder was supposed to tip back and lay on the turnbuckle, and I think it bounced and fell over the side because it really didn't look well planned. No, I think that was a mistake. That it looked like it was just it just happened. Because it looked like then he went over to AJ like, all right, well, now we have to kill some time because it didn't look like it went well at all. I will say that I really liked, and this worked for Sammy, man, when he pulled that, he handcuffed himself to AJ when AJ suplexed him, and I thought that was brilliant, first of all. And then he's making AJ carry him up the ladder, which I also thought was brilliant. I expected him just to come to life at the last second and climb over AJ and grab the belt. But no, what does he do? Good camera work on this too, because they were right place, right time. You saw him spit the key out of his mouth, unlock himself, and then very quickly hop down. It didn't look herky-jerky. It didn't look poorly done. He very quickly hops down and locks AJ to the ladder support and proceeds to go up. And I'm like, you know what? That works for me because of who Sammy is. Yeah.
Brilliant last night. I'm glad we're on the same page with this because I was like, there's no way you can knock this match in any way.
I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Jeffrey Dietz says WWE has really been putting on some incredible matches of all time across all brands in the past few years, including last night. Yeah, the ladder match was one of the best.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, and he says that my friend pointed out AJ took almost 15 minutes to take a ladder bump.
Yeah, well.
But that was a long match. That match went over 26 minutes long.
Wow.
But yeah, congrats to Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
I thought everybody did good, you know, and man, that spot on the top rope with Jeff was just holy crap.
Scary.
You know, you think about that where, he was sandwiched. Like, you know, I'm thinking like, he's done, but he got up.
Yep.
Yeah, next match was one that we thought we were going to get on the pre-show, but they moved it around. It was Asuka versus Selena Vega for the WWE Raw Women's Championship. I
think that was purely when they decided for Asuka to do double duty. They were like, well, it only means as much if everybody sees it, so it needs to be on the main show.
Yeah.
Zelina, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one because there's not a lot there. Zelina did fine. The ending was never in doubt. But Zelina looked good. She had believable offense for what she was doing. But it was good. It just wasn't great.
I thought she looked better than she did against Mickie James.
Who, Asuka?
No.
Oh, Zelina. Yeah. Well, absolutely. I agree. I think. Well, to be perfectly honest, it was a better match than Asuka had against Mickie James last time too, because that was kind of clunky. I don't know what it is. There wasn't a rhythm working there for either of those ladies with Mickie at that point. But I agree. The match was good. Zelina looked good. And it was good. Good is my review. Good.
Yeah. Right person won. All right, for the United States Championship, Bobby Lashley versus Apollo Crews. I liked this match.
I liked it too, but it was a bit of a snore because it was almost a carbon copy of what I've seen already. And yet again, Apollo's tapping out to the hurt lock, which it's like, we've firmly established now Apollo's not in his league. We need to be done with this because this really drove home the point that Apollo's not on Bobby Lashley's level.
Oh, well, I think he's done here. I think that's why I think he tapped out. I think it wasn't
maybe, but he's tapped out previously. This isn't the first time. He that's how he lost the title, and so it's like we kind of I enjoyed it. It was a well worked match. I was just like, I've seen this.
Well, I was impressed with the fact that he lifted up Lashley up over his head. You did the press, which
right.
Well, Lashley's no,
Oh no, without a doubt.
Yeah,
I'm not saying Apollo wasn't impressive. I'm just the match never really. It didn't have a lot of drama for me.
Yeah, I thought it was a better match than I anticipated it to be. So,
right.
Right guy won. Next match was the Raw Tag Team Championship match, the Street Profits versus Andrade and Angel Garza,
which was a really good match right up until Angel Garza hurt his leg. I don't know if we've gotten an official report on what happened to his leg yet or not. I imagine he probably went somewhere to get it looked at today, so the results of that may not be available yet. But he legitimately hurt his leg at later in this match, and then they clearly went to a quick finish afterwards. Yeah, and they communicated that poorly. Because Andrade still kicked out, or not Andrade, I'm sorry. It was Andrade. Yeah,
Andrade. Yeah,
Andrade kicked out of Dawkins' spine buster when clearly the ref was going to count 3, and then it was so egregious that both announcers had to call, all right, well that's not a good finish. That's not the way you want it to go.
But I'm fine with that. I mean, it was clunky, but it sets up a rematch down the road.
But they don't need a rematch. I don't want a rematch. I'm tired of this feud. I'm sick of it. That's the thing. I don't need a setup for a rematch. And I understand that this was because of an accident, but it's not like we were setting up for a rematch because of the accident. They just effed it up. Is all that happened.
Yeah.
So it's I don't need a rematch. Just because you screwed up, I don't need a rematch. I'm done with this feud. It has no steam whatsoever.
Well, unless Garza and Andrade are going to win the titles, then there should be. But there should be a rematch at some point. You just say, okay, we're going to settle this once for all. Either we beat you, or we don't. We never fight you again for the titles.
No, I don't need that. I'm also tired of that stipulation. I've heard that a lot over the last year too. I'll never challenge for this title again or something like that. No, I'm done with it. I'm done with it. Yeah, he's not the only one. I've heard it from other people too. But in any event, I just, yeah.
So Jeffrey says, it looked like Angel Garza tore his quad. But I saw somewhere he may have injured his hip, actually. Yeah, I'm trying to find a story on it, but I don't really.
Yeah, I don't think results have been released yet.
Some kind of a leg injury. Jeffrey says he's done with this feud too, but there is literally any tag team left in WWE.
Well, bring in James Storm and boom, we've got a tag team.
What's the AOP doing
now? Probably, I don't know, grub hubbing.
Paul Lewis. Hey, Paul, thanks for chiming in. Raw Women's title rematch tonight on Raw. So we got that to look forward to.
I mean, I'm assuming that'll go very much the way it went the first time.
Yeah. Probably. They can't be doing that. So, okay, without Nikki Cross able to wrestle on Clash of Champions, we got Bayley comes out.
Yep.
And then
says anybody can come out and challenge her. So then anybody does. And it's Asuka who pulls double duty that night, and we get a 4-minute match between them before. I'm not even going to grade this as a match because it wasn't a match.
It was an angle.
It was an angle just to set up Sasha coming back and getting a little bit of revenge against Bayley. She didn't get full revenge, which is good. You don't want to see that yet. And this one is my money for what's going to end up being in Hell in a Cell at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view.
Absolutely, yeah. Because right afterward they kind of previewed or teased Hell in a Cell was coming. I had a little bit of problem with this. Okay, I thought Sasha coming in, getting the chair shot in was fine, but I almost felt like in the situation where the face is going after the heel because the heel did something terrible.
Yeah,
like the face shouldn't really get her hands on the heel. And I know she hit her with the kendo stick and she took off running, but I'm thinking it's got to be like these near misses where it's like, oh, I'm going to get you, and then Bayley gets away at the last second, so that way when they have the match, and it's like, but waiting to get my hands on you. I finally got it.
I don't know. I think Austin stunned everybody 9 million times leading up to each of their feuds. So I mean, it was like I think it give or take. I mean, if this was a standard thing, I get what you're saying. But like Sasha showing up out of nowhere, you got to give it a little bit of hype somehow. Was Sasha's going to need to do something to what would be causing excitement, which wouldn't just be her being there. She's going to have to get her hands on Bayley a little bit, and she didn't get the full extent of her revenge. I mean, that's not it. So it's not like she's gotten her comeuppance. That's still coming. Sasha only got a little bit of what she needs to give Bayley. So I mean, I'm still fine with what we got.
How long is Sasha going to be in the neck brace?
Oh, I don't know. For all I know, they'll Becky Lynch this thing, and she'll be limping through the next 3 matches with a neck brace on. I have no idea.
You're not clear to wrestle. Okay, we're going to get Charlotte. Come on in, Charlotte.
Yeah.
Hey, Thomas, by the way, he's not digging the feud. He says Sasha Bayley going back and forth is getting old, but it's the only thing they got to work with.
I'm fine with them now.
Yeah.
Now that we've finally actually gotten to the split, I'm fine with it. but I just want it to happen. Like let's get to the match and let's make it happen. Oh no. We're having a breakdown.
You can't take out the match. Right now, Sasha, which I thought was going to go away for a while.
Right, yeah.
So, I don't need Sasha to come back. By the way, in the previous match, Michael chimes in. I thought Andrade and Garza broke up with Angel, leaving him high and dry with Retribution.
Would have been an interesting idea, but...
Yeah, but we thought they broke up like 5 times already.
Yeah, they can't seem to make up their minds on that.
No. Okay, so the next match for the WWE Championship, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton in an ambulance match.
It was a good match. Both guys worked really hard, of course. This has to be the end to that feud. First of all, there's little that's more definitive than throwing the guy in the back of an ambulance and closing the doors, and that be, that's pretty definitive. Yeah. Not to mention the fact, and that's another thing. This match had the comeuppance, the full circle of Orton's whole storyline over the summer of taking people out and them coming back to get their revenge on him. I mean, Big Show shows up at one point and chokeslam him. Christian attacks him. Shawn Michaels super kicks him, and then Ric Flair drives him away after the match is over. Like he got that. That's the full circle to Orton's story. That story's over.
Can you believe that they thought this out, or somebody said, "Hey, we should bring these guys back and have them show up in this match"?
No, I don't believe they thought about that for a second. I'm convinced that was like Shawn Michaels' idea or something.
2 things. Do you think all that interference?
No. I know where you're going. No.
You don't think I heard Drew?
No, because we're told the whole time he's wrestling with a broken jaw. We're told the whole time he's wrestling with a broken jaw during this match, and every time he gets hit, he's in such agonizing pain and everything. And it's not like we haven't seen Drew beat Orton already. So we've already seen him win, so we know he's capable of it. So it's not like this is covering for the fact that we didn't want Drew to beat Orton. No, we know Drew can beat Orton, and we were told repeatedly, oh, the broken jaw, oh, his jaw, oh, the broken jaw. They said it a million times in that match. Every time Orton did anything to his face or neck, hell, if he hit him in his stomach, they were like, oh, the jaw. And it was like they were telling that story over the top. So I was like, no, it's fine. I don't care. Half the time when he got beat up, he was nowhere near an ambulance. It only happened when Shawn Michaels was there. You can beat him up for me, do one chokeslam, way over there, but that doesn't necessarily help me with the ambulance over there. It's he got laid out for 10 seconds. It's okay, great. And yeah, that's one thing. But again, I don't think the average wrestling fan or the average fan was watching this and had any problem with that. I think that's people who are looking to nitpick the storyline and find reasons to complain, because Drew still came out of this looking the dude had blood all over his back. He's wrestling with a broken jaw. He came out of it looking like a beast.
That windshield spot was pretty sick, and his back did not look good.
No. Drew's fine. Was it a perfect way to do it for Drew? No, of course not. But it was perfect for Orton's storyline. It was perfect to put a ribbon on Orton's storyline and wrap that up.
He did at the end. He hit him with the Claymore, and then he gave him the kick in the ambulance and stuff. It was weird because we didn't know at the time that Retribution wasn't going to be there. So I kept
expecting them to show up. Yeah. When he hit the ambulance for them to drive away and they didn't, I thought for sure there was going to be somebody from Retribution in there, but there wasn't. I was like, oh, okay, well, never mind.
I was worried that because nobody moved the car to the door. I thought wait, Flair's going to drive.
He's going to run over the door, blow the tire out of it. That would have been hilarious.
Phillips says, as the best match of the night, hands down, was not expecting the Hall of Famers to attack Orton. That was a great surprise.
Yeah, it was. The second I saw Big Show, I told my girlfriend, I was like, I really hope Christian and Shawn Michaels and them keep showing up after this.
Yeah, and I was thinking, because I couldn't remember who else did he attack, and I was trying to remember that Christian showed up, and I was okay, is Flair gonna give him the low blow?
Which would have been funny to me.
Yeah,
but I understand him not getting physical, not getting near anybody. I understand that.
Yeah, it was smart. Jeffrey says, I thought it was a good way to cap off the feud, and I honestly thought it could have gone either way. And I thought so too, but I thought maybe Randy was going to win. But I think if Randy won after all that interference, that would have hurt Drew.
Oh, it would have hurt Drew big time. That I agree with you there. That would have hurt Drew. But Drew winning in the end, I don't have a problem with. Does it look great? No, it doesn't look amazing, but it's not hurting him.
All right. So some other stuff that happened on the card.
No. Dave wants to talk about the 24/7 title, and I refuse. That is not a real thing. I refuse.
Okay, well, I'll talk about it. So Drew.
Why? Why are we wasting any time on this? It's so bad. You want to know what happened? He got pinned by Drew Gulak, then he pinned Drew Gulak because nothing means anything with the 24/7 title.
Yes. But however, he's now the 40-time
I don't care.
champion.
I don't. That's like, dude. This is like telling me that, like, well, the guy for who leads the league in passing is this NFL cut, guy cut by the NFL who now throws against high school teams. I don't care. Its stat means nothing to me because it's a piece of crap title that has no weight whatsoever.
Well, his 45 title reigns, to whoever they count for, are the most for any WWE superstar. No, they don't count. This can go right out the window because I don't need this statistic. This is like when we got to the Royal Rumble and it started getting ridiculous where it's like, 1 second. Oh, what the hell are we going to do now? 40 championship reigns? Get the hell out of here. Just go away with that nonsense. I don't need it. It's dumb. I hate that so much. Look, we're so out of ideas. I noticed last night, granted, don't get me wrong, I haven't seen every little segment with him. But I noticed last night he was holding hands and talking to little Jimmy again. And I was like, oh, we're back to little Jimmy? That's a thing again? We're trying to bring that back? No, just let this die. I keep hoping every time somebody new debuts, I keep hoping they're going to somehow just rid us of that title. I thought when Shelton Benjamin beat him for it, that he might just trash the thing and start all over, like it'd be gone. But no, we still were stuck with it. And I had to watch Shelton Benjamin get pinned. It was nonsense. Patrine weighs in, by the way. 24/7 title used to be fun back when Carmella was with R-Truth.
In the beginning, I'll go with you. It was funny. It was funny in the beginning. It has worn out its welcome here.
And Thomas is, R-Truth is the best comedy guy they have. The only reason why they keep him around, if they give him a push, it would be great.
He's 100% right. R-Truth is the best comedy guy they have. He's fantastic at comedy. Give him comedy to work with, not this.
And and when he seriously wrestled for like a week or two, like it was great because you forget, like, oh yeah, this guy can go, but that's not what he.
Now hold on a second. Are you talking about his feud with John Cena?
No, I was talking like earlier. I think it was like last year. Or might have been this year.
Oh, okay, all right. I thought you were talking about his feud with John Cena. I was like, it wasn't great, Dave. Like, let's not kid ourselves. No, he's a great comedy guy, but give him stuff. Oh, all right. I
read that one. That's all you.
Thomas says it could be worse though. Gronk could still have it. No, you know what, Thomas? That would be better because then he would have left with it, and I would have been okay with that. He can take that nonsense to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers along with Brady, who I also don't care about. So, moving on to the main event of the evening, Dave.
Which was?
For the Universal Championship, Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. If you didn't know any better, head of the table match. I've heard that. I must have heard that phrase a billion times yesterday. But I'm going to say this. Loved the match. From a storytelling standpoint, that was 5-star wrestling from a storytelling standpoint.
Outstanding.
Was it the most technical thing I've ever seen? No. Without a doubt, no. But man, for storytelling, chef's kiss. It was amazing. Loved it. That Roman as a heel so far, killing it.
Yeah. Two things. One, I saw a comment which everybody completely trashed this guy afterwards. It was on another page where he says, "Oh, they're making him look like Brock Lesnar." No, they are not.
No,
absolutely farthest away from that. The other thing is, and I know they couldn't do this 3 years ago because they were still trying the Roman experience, but this is money.
This is absolute money. Yeah. This Roman Reigns over the last month or so has become the most must-watch guy on TV for me. He is. Yeah. He is. I am thrilled by this.
Yeah, and I think we talked about this. We didn't expect a 5-star match because we thought two ways it was going to go. He was just going to demolish him. Obviously, that happened a little bit on Raw to set the table. Or Jay was occasionally going to get some offense in, and then Roman was going to demolish him. Which it was a little more back and forth early on. But then towards the last several minutes of the match was just an extended Roman beatdown on Jay. Yeah. And which I like that it wasn't even for a pin. He was just like, no, I'm just going to beat on you until either you give up or like the ref stops this. Or, the table. Yeah, like he was vicious about it. I liked it. I liked it a lot. And then I loved the little things. I loved that Heyman went and got the lei that Jay came out wearing and put that on Roman afterwards. Yeah. I love that Jimmy came back from the injury to throw in the towel for his brother. And when he's still beating on Jay after the ref stops the match, after he threw in the towel, he literally dives on top of his brother like he's trying to protect him. And he's like, and Jimmy came across really legit, like, what is wrong with you? We're family, like, blah, 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 like, dude. And he admits for Jay,
He's like, you're the tribal chief, man. You're the head of, you're the head of the family, blah, blah, blah. Like, I was like, man, this, like you said, this is money with Roman right now. I still hope we get to a point where the Usos end up on his side. Like, almost from that perspective of, I'm the head of the family, now toe the line.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I mean, I don't know. I think Roman needs that right now, but maybe
I don't think he does either. But I would really like to see this Samoan faction formed around Paul Heyman, who had the history of working with was the Samoan SWAT team.
Yeah. I think that was his team after the Midnight. Not Midnight. Who's this guy? He had the Skyscrapers, I think, for a little bit, and then some other guys, and then before he went to ECW. But yeah, he had those guys. I think did he do this Samoan SWAT team?
I thought he did. Let me see real quick. I'll find out real fast.
Okay. Well, while you do that, I got some comments here. Jeffrey says, "I seriously need them to run back this match, and in our singles match between Rowan and Jimmy, this match was so good. Yeah, it told an outstanding story." Thomas says, "Anyone with Paul H is magic except for Redneck." And Alex.
I was gonna say, I was gonna say, you mean Curtis Axel?
Curtis Axel, yeah. Alex Riley couldn't use him. Which, by the way, side note, Alex Riley said that he didn't take John Cena's advice, and that's what derailed his career in the back. So
he did or didn't?
He did not, because Cena wanted to talk to him, and he kind of blew him off, and that's where.
If a vet wants to talk to you, talk to him, dude.
Yeah, because I like them, and it just kind of.
Yeah, that's a real shame. You should have not been that much of a D. Because if a vet wants to talk to you, I mean, you need to talk to him for one of two reasons: it's either to help you or to correct you on something, and you either way need to listen.
Yeah, otherwise you're going to be changing not in the locker room, and you're going to be you're going to have the worst seat on the bus.
Yep.
Did you find out? Did he manage him?
Yes, he did.
Okay.
Yep. The Samoan SWAT team was picked up by National Wrestling Alliance in 1989 and were assigned to Paul Heyman. So there you go.
Gotcha. Man, I need to go back. Those guys.
I thought he did. I just wasn't sure. I was trying to
remember because they knew he had the Skyscrapers.
I thought that was his connection to the whole thing. You know what I mean?
It makes sense. Yeah. Because who are those guys? Because it was Tama, right? Was one of the guys from the Islanders, and then the other guy, I forget, was like part of it, but he like didn't stay in the group or something. I'm trying to remember. It's been 30 years.
Well, the Samoan SWAT team, hang on, I'm trying to figure out where this, Samula Anuai of the Samoan SWAT team, and Rikishi was the other one, obviously, who were the Usos' father.
Yeah.
So Samula and Solafa were the members of the Samoan SWAT team. So there you go. And Samula Anuai, I mean, we know that family. I'm probably saying it wrong. I'm probably butchering it at this point.
Yeah, Yokozuna, but family.
Yeah. So I mean, like that's all connected through there. So I mean, Heyman has that connection with all of them.
Which is weird because one of those guys became, or no, Fatu was a head shrinker, right? Yeah, because he came in as a head shrinker. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But the other guy was a different guy, and then eventually became the former Barbarian, who I had no idea had any Samoan in him, but.
Not a shock.
Yeah.
Not a shock. In any event, so that was Clash of Champions. I give the overall show a big thumbs up. If I had to score it out of 10, I'd probably give it an 8.
I'm right there with you, an 8.
There was a few things on there that dragged that weren't amazing, but nothing was bad. And it had two really good matches, two like great matches, and one really good match. And I would argue that the latter match and the main event were like the great matches, and the ambulance match was really good.
Yeah, the ambulance match, which is a tough gimmick match, this falls on the side of one of the better ones. Agreed.
Because there aren't many good ones.
No, because sometimes you get these these gimmick matches where, and I wasn't looking forward to the whole gimmick thing, except for the fact that I was thinking Retribution was going to show up.
Right.
So I was like, oh, this is going to happen. So I think I was more anticipating that. And then when everybody else came in and beat the crap out of Randy, it's like, you know what? Okay, this makes it good.
Yeah. So, but now my thing is Randy needs to be done. That feud needs to be over with. Because you've had the wrap up of Randy's whole summer story right there, and you've had a definitive ending to that feud. Like Drew needs to move on at this point.
Yes, he does. Yeah. So who's next for Drew?
I don't know at this point. I mean, really, you got Keith Lee, who's an option. Samoa Joe could leave the desk and challenge Drew McIntyre. Because from what I understand, he's cleared to return to wrestling. And you've got, they could run back the Monday Night Messiah at some point. There's options.
Well, he's gonna be stuck in that silly storyline with Ray, with
Yeah.
and the daughter and Murphy. He needs to
Yeah.
get Murphy because he can't break them up. Hey, by the way, Brandy weighs in. She says, if you're interested, Corey Graves had Roman on after the bell. He talks about his history with Heyman.
I would be interested, except that Corey Graves is on there. Corey Graves, as I like to call him, the praying hantis, because he does this all the time. Puts his hands together in that praying motion, and he talks like this all the time, and it drives me crazy. In any event,
maybe because he's Carmelo. I'm sorry,
he's been doing that since long before Carmelo. Man, he used to do it all the time and look and just stare into the camera, trying to look cool. And I just remember thinking to myself, "Stop it! I hate you." The Corey Graves, don't get me wrong, he's good at his job. I have no issues with Corey Graves whatsoever. He just on a like listening to him. I've tried to listen to him on podcasts and stuff like that before, and I just don't find him engaging, I guess.
There was one I liked of it that was pretty recent. I think maybe I need to share that in their page. I'm trying to remember who he interviewed. I think it was Shane McMahon, the Shane McMahon one.
Okay.
I thought that was pretty good in that regards. But he's less Bobby Heenan-esque because for a while you try to see him like he's like trying to be like Bobby the Brain #2 or whatever. And it doesn't like he's more natural, I guess, in some sorts now. But he's not drooling. It's weird though because he defended like Sasha Banks. He didn't go full like when she came out to attack Bailey. I'm surprised like he didn't go out and say, "Oh, what's she doing? Look, she's trying to get the attention away. She's not 100% because he was bashing her for the longest time and he's not consistent there." So
yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe he'll change his tune, maybe he won't.
Yeah. And Thomas says he'll take Graves over Michael Cole any day.
I'm going to disagree with that. Cole is actually a very good, as somebody who's done this job, Cole is a very good play-by-play guy when he's allowed to do his job, when he doesn't have a 78-year-old psychopath screaming in his ear. He can be very good at his job. But he is given an insurmountable task of trying to relay a ridiculous amount of information to you while also calling what's happening in the ring, while also relaying what this crazy person is screaming at him in his ears. Anybody who's had that job will tell you how good Michael Cole is at it.
There is one thing that what he and other announcers do, like especially on pay-per-views, is when they're calling a match, and they always make it sound like they're about to go to commercial because because something happens outside the ring. Oh, Drew McIntyre outside the ring. Well, Randy Orton win the championship. And I'm thinking, like, are they going to the commercial here?
Sometimes maybe they think they are, and it's not. You know what I mean? Those mistakes happen. I've also done live TV, and that's difficult too. So there are flubs from time to time.
Yeah, and he's gotten better with saying the vintage thing. So.
He has. I think he realized that was a crutch, and he got off of that, thankfully. But I think Corey Graves is good at what he does as a color guy. I would not want him as the main play-by-play guy. No. It's like Matt Stryker is the play-by-play guy in other places now, and I detest that. I do not enjoy him as the play-by-play announcer. He was the play-by-play guy for Lucha Underground, and I really didn't like it. Really? It was him and Vampiro. Vampiro was the color guy, which. Boy, you couldn't have picked a more boring guy for me to listen to than Vampiro. I'd never liked him. But I don't like Matt Stryker as a play-by-play guy. He gets too cutesy with his insider references and making remarks that really are like, this expression, Dave, 20%ers. You know what I mean? Like maybe 20% of your audience is going to understand what you're saying, which isn't the point. You're supposed to be conveying this to as many people as possible. And he winks at the camera way too much. It just drives me nuts. But in any event, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Clash of Champions. It was great. I recommend going out of your way to watch at least those 3 matches if you haven't: the ladder match, the main event, and the ambulance match. So, without further ado, remember that we will not be on Friday. We'll be on Saturday during the day. So make sure if you follow us on social media, which is facebook.com/ESPR99 or Twitter @ESPR99, you go ahead and turn on your notifications after you follow us on there. So that way you will get notified when we go live. If for some reason you happen to miss us, just remember, you can always find us on Facebook, 1069thefox.com and fm99.com, right under the media tab, ESPR, or you can get us on your podcasting apps. Just search for ESPR Wrestling. And yes, on Saturday, next time, we will be doing a preview for NXT TakeOver. So that's coming up. I'm really excited to talk about it. What a card. It's going to be amazing. We'll talk about that on Saturday. So if you got thoughts, get them together. You can email them to us, ESPR@fm99.com. And until that time, remember to eat, sleep, podcast, and
repeat. Good night, everybody.
Get out.
Get out.